What's up, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content as well as all of my videos, okay? I want to give a shout out to all of my subs, both my day ones and as well as my new subs. I thank you for the love and the support that you've been showing on this channel, and I thank you for the help and the growth and the progression of this channel. Okay, like I said, I'm going through a little construction phase right now at this point in time. Should be back up and swinging with things here in a little bit, but just give me some time. And like I said, man, just keep rocking with me, man. I promise y'all, I'm not gonna let y'all down, okay? And I also want to give a shout out to the whole entire Lions Den, both basketball as well as boxing community. In this case, we are talking about hoops. Now, there has been a lot of people that have made comparisons between Boston head coach, as of now, Joe Mazulla, and Houston head coach, who was formerly the head coach of the Boston Celtics, Ime Udoka. Okay. I've kind of spoken on this situation here and there, but as you know, on this channel, I do have several fans of the Celtics, and I do know quite a few people that are Boston Celtics fans. And I think after the loss to the Hawks, as well as some other losses that they have took, okay, that kind of stands out in my mind when you think about the losses that they took to Denver, okay, which is a championship team. Although the Celtics are doing, they're doing good in terms of having the best record on paper and everything, a lot of people still don't see them as a threat, okay? There's nobody that really fears the Celtics, and it really doesn't have anything to do necessarily with the players per se. You can add that in there, but it all boils down to coaching, okay? Joe Mazulla has been criticized for, while he's, a great offensive coach, he kind of gets overboard in terms of his offense. The one thing that I'm hearing a lot, and I'm also seeing too, is that he tends to take way more three-point shots than necessary. And it's like the offense it just outweighs the defense per se. Now, at one point, the Celtics were, they had a defensive rating. They were in the top in terms of defensive rating. They have had some slippage there. But the thing about it is that they do have the personnel to play defense. But that is what the difference was between a guy like Ime Udoka, who's starting to turn things around with H-Town. You see, in the beginning, it started off kind of shaky, in H-Town, had to get some things together. I say all the time, Rome wasn't built in a day. Now you see Houston is flourishing. They're pretty much the hottest team in the NBA right now, winning 10 straight, okay? And the thing about Ime Udoka and the difference between him and Joe Mazulla is the fact that Ime Udoka, he was able to do the same thing with the Celtics, okay? The Celtics, when Ime Udoka, when he had taken over, he needed to get them to that next level. And he was able to accomplish that. However, there were some rough edges that he needed to smooth. They needed to get smoothed out. Okay. When you talk about, the attitudes of the Celtics, there were some players that necessarily did not buy in at first to what Ime Udoka was selling in terms of his coaching philosophy. And he was a no-nonsense, tough, rugged, old school type of mentality coach. But I think the thing that tends to get forgotten is the fact that Ime Udoka still is young enough to understand today's game. Joe Mazulla, not taking anything away from him, but a lot of people feel like he can't necessarily take that team to the next level, you know what I'm saying, in terms of a championship. A lot of people feel that what's going to take place is they possibly could be out of the playoffs, or if they do happen to make it to a finals, they won't get over that hump because, for one, you haven't seen them, progress as much on the defensive end. Don't get me wrong, there has been some slippage on their offense too as well. But see, when we look at the Celtics and we're looking at how it's supposed to be formulated, the Celtics culture from what I know, it's always been like, one of the, a hard hat, blue collar, but yet and still you still have a mixture of players that can do great things in terms of, offensively, flamboyance, things of that nature, but for the most part, it's always been that, that blue collar, lunch pail type of style of play that people appreciate, but to get back to what I was saying, you clearly see the difference between a guy like a Ime Udoka in comparison to Joe Mazulla. Now, I understand that, Houston is still young. They've still got a long ways to go and everything. But what shows Ime Udoka's versatility and him able to adapt is the fact that he actually went to a younger team. The Celtics were a little bit older, not by much, but the Celtics were a little bit older. Jason Tatum was still young, you know what I'm saying? We got to understand that Jason Tatum is still only 26 years old. He was 25 last year, and he's still in his young term. He hasn't reached the age of 30. Then, of course, you got Jaylen Brown on there, and had him on there and everything. A lot of people felt like the Celtics should have won last year, okay? A lot of people felt that way. But, they came up short. Nothing that we could do about it. The only thing that they can do is show up this year. And I imagine that if the Celtics do not get over that hump this year, they're going to have to figure out what their next step is in terms of the Tatum and Brown situation. Because not to get away from what the topic is, but I just want to touch on this for a second. Brown really wants to, I think, branch out and really show people that he's that main guy. I don't think Brown wants to be looked at as a number two or a sidekick or anything like that. Especially when you consider a guy that, who some people say over the course of, I would say, 3 years, 2 to 3 years, Jaylen Brown has outplayed Jason Tatum. Now, has the Jason Tatum shooting gotten a little better? Yeah, his shot selection has gotten a lot better. But over the course of 2 to 3 seasons, what did you know about Jason Tatum? He was known as a shot jacking and really didn't take pride in his defense or on the defensive end as much as Jaylen Brown did. But that's neither here nor there. I think that Ime Udoka, you're missing out when you have him leave. And the thing about it is Ime Udoka coached that team. That of course, they had a few other players during that time, but their roster is a little bit different now than what it was, especially when we talk about the championship. When they got to the championship, Ime Udoka had coached that team for the playoffs. He coached them for a championship, and I don't think a lot of people really recognize that. Of course, people want to see offense, not realizing that he was gearing you up for playoffs and for championship, because Ime Udoka is a part of that. He's a part of that culture. He's a part of the San Antonio culture, in which they were used to either being deep in the playoffs or in the championship for the majority of the years that he spent on the coaching staff. So. Like I said, man, you clearly see the difference. I don't think that Joe Mazulla is on Ime Udoka's level in terms of coaching, and you're seeing that evident now while he's in Houston. It's not all the way there yet, but as soon as he gets things clicking, you're going to see even more of a surge with H-Town. So, y'all let me know what you think. Those are just my thoughts and my opinions. Yours may be different. Make sure you like the video, share it, subscribe, hit them notifications so that you are notified. Until then, straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I'm going to get at you later.